Everyone, welcome back. Today, we're talking about two legends of steel machines that shaped the fate of nations. One forged in the frozen factories of the Soviet Union. The other, born in the roaring industrial heart of America. And though the war has long ended, their rivalry lives on this time. Inside WarThunder, on the Eastern Front, steel met fire and survival was measured in seconds. Two machines changed the course of history. One born in frozen Soviet factories, the other in the industrial heart of America. Decades later, they clash again, not in war, but in WarThunder. This is T-34 versus Sherman, where history and simulation collide. Imagine it's 1943. Snow, mud, and chaos. In the east, Soviet T-34s roar across the frozen plains. In the west, American Shermans thunder through hedgerows of France. Two tanks from different worlds, but built for the same purpose: to win the war of attrition. Decades later, they meet again, not on the battlefield, but inside WarThunder. This is T-34 versus Sherman, where history, engineering, and simulation collide. The story of the tank began during World War I. The battlefield had frozen trenches, barbed wire, and machine guns turned defense into suicide.
So you're thinking
Armies needed something that could cross no man's land,
Yes, that slight
crush
modification
obstacles,
should improve the
and carry
efficiency.
firepower where infantry could not. The British built the first tanks in 1916, lumbering beasts called land ships. They were slow, unreliable, but they changed warfare forever. Between the wars, every nation studied this new weapon. Germany perfected blitzkrieg tactics. Britain explored combined arms. America hesitated, and the Soviet Union quietly invested in mass production. By 1940, the tank was no longer an experiment. It was the heart of modern warfare. The T-34 was born out of fear and foresight. In the 1930s, Soviet designers like Mikhail Koshkin and Alexander Morozov saw that their light tanks would not survive against new German anti-tank guns. Their answer was revolutionary: a tank with sloped armor, wide tracks, and a powerful 76mm gun. It was fast, rugged, and could be built by untrained workers deep behind Soviet lines. When the Nazis invaded in 1941, the Wehrmacht was shocked. Their shells bounced off the T-34's angled armor. German generals called it the finest tank in the world. The T-34 wasn't perfect, visibility was poor. The gearbox was heavy, and the crew suffered, but it was simple, adaptable, and unstoppable. Across the ocean, America faced a different problem. The U.S. Army needed a tank that could be mass-produced, shipped overseas, and maintained anywhere.
Thank you, Captain.
The result
You are
was
welcome,
the
Sergeant.
M4 Sherman, designed by engineers led by Harry Knox and Joseph Colby in 1941. Unlike the T-34, the Sherman wasn't built to dominate, it was built to arrive, fight, and be replaced. It used a gasoline engine, thinner armor, and a 75mm gun weaker than many German tanks, but it was fast, reliable, and easy to fix. Crews loved it because it always worked. Mechanics loved it because spare parts were everywhere. Critics later mocked the Sherman as a death trap. But in truth, it was the tank that won the logistics war. The T-34 and the Sherman never faced each other in battle. Instead, they fought on the same side against the Axis powers. Thousands of Shermans were even shipped to the Soviet Union through the Lend-Lease program, serving alongside T-34s on the Eastern Front. In a way, their cooperation symbolized the war itself. The Soviet tank, tough and crude, and the American tank, refined and efficient, fighting for the same victory. Both tanks answered the same question in opposite ways. How do you build a machine that ordinary men can fight, repair, and survive? The T-34 prioritized battlefield effectiveness, thick, sloped armor, simple mechanics, raw mobility. The Sherman prioritized logistics, interchangeable parts, ease of maintenance, crew safety. The T-34 could fight in mud, snow, and disaster. The Sherman could fight anywhere there was fuel and spare parts. In numbers and reliability, the Sherman dominated. In raw combat endurance, the T-34 earned respect. The T-34's advantages were clear. Sloped armor gave superior deflection. Diesel engine reduced fire risk. Wide tracks handled harsh terrain. Its flaws were also severe. Poor optics, cramped interior, rough transmission. The Sherman's advantages: excellent reliability and communication, gyro-stabilized gun for quicker aim, safer crew compartments in later models. But it had weaknesses too: thinner armor, high silhouette, gasoline explosions when hit. The T-34 was a hammer, the Sherman a toolkit. Each tank reflected its nation's industry, geography, and doctrine. In WarThunder, both tanks meet on equal ground, something history never allowed. The T-34 in the game captures its real speed and angled protection, but its damage model is simplified. It can feel too light, too quick to repair, too forgiving. The Sherman captures its stability and accuracy well. The gyro stabilizer gives smoother shots, and its firepower feels precise, but in-game, it sometimes feels weaker than history suggests. Often underestimated by players who chase armor thickness alone. Gaijin's balance system doesn't choose sides. It translates philosophy into numbers. The T-34 trades reliability for agility. The Sherman trades power for control. It's not pure simulation. It's a digital truce between two legends.
Stay with me, buddy. We're gonna get you out of
Both tanks were only as strong as their
We'll take care of
crews.
you.
Soviet tankers fought with brutal courage, often undertrained, outnumbered, and outgunned. American crews relied on radio coordination, teamwork, and steady logistics. WarThunder can't show the exhaustion, the fear, or the smell of oil and smoke, but it captures the idea of these battles, giving players a glimpse of the past through pixels and gameplay. The T-34 and the Sherman were never rivals in history, but together, they built the backbone of Allied victory. One was forged in desperation, the other in abundance. One symbolized endurance, the other efficiency. In WarThunder, their rivalry becomes a kind of tribute, two icons balanced across time and technology. When you drive them, remember, every battle in the game echoes a real one fought by men inside steel coffins 70 years ago. Between pixels and armor, history lives on.